Podcast. We're back. We got a lot of exciting things on the way. Both very busy people here at HSL, but we always need to make time to give our viewers and our followers some nice, luscious content. We, of course, have the big All Star game coming up next week. HSL, MSL. Now waiting almost 4 months for that game to happen. Hopefully, with the weather cooperating, we finally will have it happen. Very excited. We also are underway with our Sunday morning softball league, which we're very excited about that. Already up to week 3 for Sunday mornings. However, this podcast, we are here to rank as best we can. We're not so familiar with all the teams yet, but we want to get some rankings out. We did it for the spring morning league, and we are going to be doing it again now. We were supposed to start a couple of days ago. The rain unfortunately held us up. However, it gave us some time to go through the rosters a little bit and give our basic 2 cents as to what the rankings should be. Dave, how are you feeling on this Thursday late morning?
I'm excited. The night league is absolutely stacked. I mean, me and Avi, we don't have all the rosters. We have about half the rosters. We also know some of the teams, long-standing teams like the Robins, the Tigers. They didn't put in their rosters, but we know who's there. Maybe I should list all the teams that didn't put in the rosters. Yeah, I publicly shame them. But I'm very excited. I mean, this is an A league. This league is an A league. I mean, there are really, really good players going through the rosters. I thought, the team I'm on, Wall Street Grill, captained by Zach Feldberg. Zach is a shadow captain. He put Aaron Feldberg on the flyer, but Zach is really the captain. I thought we were going to be a dominant team, and then I started looking at the other rosters, and now I'm not even sure we're going to win any games at all. Just kidding. We'll definitely win some games, but there are a lot of really good teams. So I'm very excited. I mean, there's so much juice. There's as much juice in this league as I've ever seen in any of our leagues, period.
Yeah.
I would say there's 9 teams right off the bat that I would say have what we consider good squads.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll get to it, but I think the top 9 teams could win the championship, which is pretty insane. Part of the reason why we have,
and we've never really had that in a league before, because in the morning leagues we've split up the Titan and the Legacy, and so we usually had about two in the Titan, 2 or 3 in the Titan that had a real shot at winning, and 4 or 5 in the Legacy. Right. Then once in a while you have a team like the Hungry Hippos that shocks the world.
Speaking of the Hungry Hippos, they're going to be enjoying their dinner tonight from Smash House. I look forward to going there strictly to get some content and nothing else, of course. I was going to say basketball, we had it a little bit, but it wasn't, it was more top heavy. We haven't had it. We were so deep where every single team can compete. So let's get right into it. We got 14 teams. Again, some of which we're very not familiar with. But we do have 14 teams battling it out. And you'll be very honest, who we are familiar with, who we're not. And hopefully some of these bottom teams shock the world. Nothing more we would love to have these surprise teams come out. And to David's point, before we get started, one more thing, there's I keep even forgetting this word, a feeling. What's the right word for feeling? There's a aura. There's a not aura. There's something in the air that, the Wednesday night league is a B league, or this Wednesday night league is a B league. I don't think it is. I think for the most part, the top 8, 9 teams are A-level teams that can compete with anybody. I think the reason why it has that aura of a B league is because the Monday night league or the top 3, 4 teams in the Sunday morning league are, as Dave likes to call it, all-star teams. They are studs every single position. These Wednesday night teams might not be 10 deep in terms of A-level players through the roof. They might be 5 deep in terms of really high A-level. Then they have a couple low A-level and then a couple B-level, maybe even a C. But these are all really, really talented teams that we're going to get to watch, which should make it even more fun.
Yeah, and I mean, something I'm hoping, as Avi Nenner says, everything flows downstream from culture. I'm really hoping that the culture, some of the divides between the A and the B league kind of melt away over the next couple of years.
Yeah, hopefully this could feed into this draft that we want to do in the fall. All right,
yeah,
let's get started.
Okay, let's get to it.
So
Enough messing around.
we have 14 teams. A couple of the new teams that I'm personally not familiar with, so I have no choice but to rank them at the bottom. I do know they've played in the past in the night leagues a little bit and haven't been the most successful. So at 14, we have Baby Billies by Sam at Yossi Held. Super nice guy, super sweet guy. I was very in touch with him over the last few weeks, working everything out. And we really, really appreciate him bringing a team. Super easy to work with. However, due to the no knowledge and the research that we've done, we will put you guys at 14. Let that be a chip on your shoulder, and let's see what you guys can do. Coming at 13, very similar, are the Bravo Summer Georgies. Mordechai Jacobs, also a super nice guy. I was in touch with him, also arranging everything, and I appreciate him. Also has some experience in the night leagues. Hasn't been the most successful from the research I've done, which is why they'll be at 13 in the power rankings. I will say and shout out Bravos. I love Bravos. Bravos is the best, other than, well, Bravos is the best in the five towns by far. It's not even close. Pizza wise, they're amazing. Whenever I'm in the five towns, I try to at least stop by Bravos if I'm there around lunchtime. We thank you so much for sponsoring, and hopefully we can continue this relationship with them. Awesome, awesome, awesome store, and awesome guy that I'm in touch with. He's a really, really nice dude, and hopefully for Bravo's sake, they make some real push, into the power rankings and into the higher season standings. So I want to, before I move on, say
and also just say, obviously, you're saying you don't know those teams. Avi took one of the biggest L's of his life last Sunday morning season when the Hungry Hippos were ranked in the preseason power rankings
7 out of 8,
number 7 out of 8, and they ended up winning the championship.
So I was going to preface.
Avi posted one of the biggest W's of his life recently, but he also posted he also took one of the biggest L's of his life. Yeah. So the point is that
emotions.
It makes it emotion. We don't know we don't know some of these teams, so they might do better, and don't take it too personally.
Yeah,
maybe you should take it personally.
I was gonna say, before we move on, I just want to, again, just to give a PSA, we don't really know them, so give us a break if one of them end up dominating the league. But you have to stick with what we give you, and that's what we have for now. Coming in at number 12, Advanced Power Controls, another amazing sponsor based in the five towns. Electrician, if you need any electrical needs, please reach out. We will send you their number and contact. Awesome guy. We also want to thank Menachem Dicker actually for making the connection on that one as well. Sent me, I think he saw the flyer, and then he told me I should reach out. Why not? And before we knew it, he's a sponsor, and we really appreciate. Awesome dude. He's very excited, and captained by Mo Feintach, Shragi Osina, however you want to, sort of share in the captain role. Mo's a dominant A-League player. So when you have a guy like Mo Feintach on your team, you're automatically going to make some noise. However, from what it seems like, he's building his team really as a structure, as a base for a lot of the younger kids to grow up through the system, through the farm system, as Mo likes to call it. And they're young, a lot of them are young kids. There's a couple of people who I know who I'm friends with, but most of them are very, very young kids who are now competing with guys who have been playing softball for a much longer time. And for that reason, we'll put them at 12. But again, you never know with a guy like Mo Feintach, who's that talented. You never know with this team. Okay. Any thoughts, or should we move on?
Move on. Again, all three of those teams, I don't think either of us know well enough. We know Mo Feintach, and Mo knows how to build a team. He's a very experienced captain, but we just don't have enough information, so they're getting the short end of the stick.
Correct. Coming in at number 11, another shout out to the Holy Schnitzel Kiddush Clubbers. Holy Schnitzel, again, another new sponsor of ours. Fantastic restaurant in the five towns. They're in Queens. They're all over the place, and we really thank them for taking the ride with us, and hoping to develop a good relationship and continue to build our relationship with them. Holy Schnitzel Kiddush Clubbers. Dave, why don't you tell us a little about the Kiddush Clubbers here?
Kiddush Clubbers have a very good team. They have Noah Aaron, who's an all-star. He covers a tremendous amount of ground in center field. Great hitter. I was looking at their roster. He appears to have recruited the great Hillel Rokach, also an HSL all-star.
Best third baseman. Can't get better than him.
Well, that's a little complicated. I think that's interesting actually because they have Isaac Wortman who plays third, and
That's
David Core who
true.
plays short. So
Yeah,
weird. I don't know I don't know
Hill could play.
who's playing.
Hill could play first, third, or short. He will refuse to play second. He will not play
Yeah,
second.
he claims he had an injury at second base, so he can't play there anymore. Um, they have a lot of good players.
Fantastic infield,
David Core is a very good shortstop. Andrew Wildstein, old friend, pitcher. They should be good, but they went 1-7 this year in the spring.
Which is why we
So
have
it's
them at 11.
hard, based on their talent, they're getting what number do you have them at, Avi?
11.
10?
11.
11. Based on their talent, they're jumping over those three teams, but coming back from 1-7, I'm not sure why they were 1-7. Honestly, I'm not sure what happened there.
Maybe it was attendance issues, but again, it just goes to show you have names like that on that roster, and you're ranked 11 out of 14. Go show how deep this coming league is going to be, which is a very, very impressive thing. So the Holy Schnitzel Kiddish Clubbers, captained by Isaac Wortman, at 11. Coming in at 10, a very special sponsor of ours, of course, Addictive Research, part of the Addictive Ads family, Jacob Byrne.
Jacob Byrne coming in at 10. Oof.
Coming in
wow.
at 10. Been with us in the beginning. However, the one thing we will continue to say over and over and over again is Jacob is a wonderful, amazing person. His teams have been really not so much, right? Meaning his experience in the HSL in terms of, success from the HSL standpoint has been very, very low, very little.
Addictive Ads. I was really there. I saw Jake in the park yesterday. A lot of people don't know this. Jake Byrne is actually my son's godfather. Not so many from people have godparents, but Jake is. But he's apparently the godfather of a lot of children in Forrestal. So my son's not so special. So we sometimes meet up in the park with him. Oh, Byrne, we were just talking about you.
You met with me? Oh boy. Oh boy.
And he was leaving to the he was leaving the playoff game, and he told me he was 0-4 lifetime. And I said, okay, tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. And texted me hours later. They lost. They posted what?
Bad loss. I haven't gone to Cancun yet for the off season. I'm at the gym now. At the gym right after a late playoff game. I'm at the gym right after a loss. There's no time for banana boats in HSL. You can't. I can't go banana boat with Luka Doncic and the rest of the kiddish clubbers. I have to go get ready for next season.
Well, Jake, we're going through the power rankings. We were obviously shouting out Addictive Research and Addictive Ads for everything you've done for us, but we have you at 10 out of 14 in the power rankings, Jake. What's your initial reaction to that?
I think Muncie got in your head a little bit that Addictive Ads and Addictive Research are annoying. We'll be a top 5 team this year, easy, no doubt about that. We're a top 5 team.
What did Muncie say about Addictive Ads and Addictive Research? What am I missing here?
I don't know. They call me old. They call all the addictive jokes old, and I don't know if Muncie really likes me these days. I poke too much fun to whoever his name is, Mechi, Mendy, Morty, whatever his name is.
Mendy Rose.
Whatever his name is. End of the day, I'm excited for the summer season. I'm about to finish this rep if I couldn't tell him sleep. But go HSL. I'm not sure if I can leave now because it's still uploading. But let's see how this goes. Anyway, good luck, guys.
Thanks, Jake.
All right, Jake. Good to see you.
In.
All right. Wow, that was good timing. Do you think he was sitting there and waiting to hear his name before he popped on?
I don't know, man. Unless things happen extremely, extremely perfect, I probably assume that's what happened. But we'll see. He'll let us know.
Shem runs the world.
So, yeah, we got Addictive Research at 10. Jake Byrne, of course, Addictive Research, a sponsor of the HSL MSL All-Star Game coming up Tuesday night.
Big change in pitching. Big change in pitchers for Addictive Research. It's not going to be Rami Levine. I think he's got a pitching by committee. He's got old friend Nachum Mintz pitching, and
who he's won a championship with.
Won a championship with, yeah. I think he also said Eli Lutz can pitch and Avram Tzvi can pitch, so they're going to be patching it together.
Avram Tzvi captains one of our Sunday morning teams. He actually pitched versus the Robins past Sunday. He gave up, I think, 8 runs, but they were playing with 9 fielders, and he only gave up runs in 3 of the 9 innings. So he actually pitched very, very well. The Robins have a very strong Sunday morning team. Okay, so we've gotten the bottom 5 out of the way. again, the way the playoff structure is going to work, the top 6 teams get a bye. We're still working out exactly how 7 through 10 will play out. It'll either be the 9 versus 10, and the winner plays the loser of the 7 versus 8, and the winner of the 7 versus 8 advances, or just do a 7 versus 10 and 9 versus 8. We haven't worked out exactly, but the top 10 spots.
Why wouldn't you do it that way? Why do it the first convoluted way?
The first way is how it's done generally in NBA, where it gives the advantage to the 8 and 9 seeds over the 10 and 11, the 7 and 8 over the 9 and 10. 7 and 8 have 2 chances. It's like a double elimination. So the 7 and 8 seed, if you win that game, you're in. If you lose, you have another chance against the winner of the 9 and 10. The 9 and 10 have to win twice in order to make it into the big dance. So the way to do that is basically have those 2 games.
Come on. Such a short so my only issue with that is in such a short season, 7 games, like you're putting too fine a distinction between your 7 seed and your 10 seed when we're talking about two ground balls that bled through the infield could be the difference, not just between the 7 and the 10 seed, maybe even between the 5 seed and the 10 seed,
Yeah. So
and now you're going to make them win 2 games.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
So that was one. The other conversation was with the top 6 seeds. Guys are arguing, oh, what advantages the 1 seed have? And guys are saying, oh, because you got the pick. We're going to have the 1 seed pick who you're playing against. So like, oh, what if the 1 seed picks the 2 seed? Then the 2 seed's messed over. So I'm like, okay, that's never going to happen. But I hear. So now we're making it potentially where the top 3 seeds can only, or the top whatever seeds can only pick from the bottom whatever seeds. So they're figuring it out. Maybe the top 3 can only pick from the bottom 4 or whatever it is. But we're in the process. But what is confirmed is 10 teams will have a shot at the championship. So hopefully it'll lead to a lot of close races towards the end. So there's your bottom 5 teams. Coming in at number 9, and again, he's not going to be happy. We're going to get another message on our chats. Joey Katz, Crown Care Black Mambas. He will be happy.
Not just Joey. Jared Rosenblum is going to be pissed off at you.
He will be happy about his logo. It'll come out really nice. But he will not be happy that he's being ranked 9. Joey, I know it's a different squad. We could go through your roster. We actually have
Joey, newly married Joey Katz.
Newly married Joey Katz. Big budding in where in Canada was it? Toronto?
And it's always. I mean, it's the 51st state. I don't know.
That's true. Big time sponsor, also Crown Care, tremendous supporter of HSL. So Joey does have Jared. Jared is an A-League pitcher. He's a phenomenal pitcher. We could go through.
That's a wild card here.
Huge. Go through his roster. He's got a solid team. Definitely does not have a weak team. But you'll see the top. The next 8 teams they're putting up there, I think, are just more talented overall. Again, if Jared dominates like he dominates, they could compete with anybody. And like I said, I firmly believe the top 9 spots have a legitimate shot at the championship. I'm not saying 10 through 14 can't, but they have a legitimate shot at top 9. And I just think based on talent, Dave, if you want, you can read through the roster very quickly. But based on talent, I think they belong at the 9th spot.
Based on talent, they belong at the 9th spot. Those words are going to haunt you. From what I've never actually seen Jared pitch, but the fact that he's on the official list of A-League pitchers, to me, I would have ranked them higher just based on that. Pitching is such a huge part of the game that, you put the teams that are ranked 9 through 12, you make Steve Pollen your pitcher, it bumps them up 6 spots. If Jared, maybe he's no Steve Pollen, but he's an A-League pitcher that should move them higher. So that's one that I disagree with. I know the other teams are stacked, but just based on that alone. Now, going through some of the players, you got Gershom Brookler, old friend, great competitor. He's actually not an old friend. He's a new friend. But he's old because I feel like the spring legacy season was a war that we all went through together. There's a lot of fighting. Aaron Erlechavi, who you know from Monday nights, right? He's on your Monday night squad.
He's on Monday night team.
Danny Freed, Jeremy Tabak, Joey Katz, Mendy Duffler, Mikey Reinhart, 2024 Home Run Derby champion, Mikey Tabak, Morty Abitan, Shiro Zalimski. I saw him on 2 different rosters, so Shai is an on-base machine. He is extremely fast. He gets balls. He gets the ball through the infield. He can go the other way. He's just an on-base machine. And once he's on base, he moves around the bases really well.
So fast.
Shimmy Savitsky. I don't know Shimmy Savitsky. Yosef Verdansky is an A-League hitter. I mean, Avi, you've got a bunch of A-League caliber hitters on that team. And then Shirley Veg is also your boy, right?
Stories on my Sunday morning team. Very solid player. Very good player. Could hit off any pitcher.
So you've got a lot of. I mean, maybe we got to get rid of this distinction of A League versus B League, but you've got a lot of A League talent. I think 9 is low for Kremker, but Avi's usually pretty good at this stuff, so we shall see.
Well, let's see the rest. Let's see the rest of the teams. Altbank, a very big wild card here. They played in our fall league last year. They lost to the eventual champions in the semifinals. The champions, who I actually played with a lot of them at RSK, a pleasure to play with, who are, they won the Yeshiva League 3 years in a row. They lost this past year in the championship. Sadi Klein, Dovey Klein, very solid pitcher, by the way. Throws a lot of speed, a lot, debatably an A-League pitcher. Shut down in the field. Shamai Feltman is the captain, awesome to deal with, awesome guy, plays in our basketball league. We can't forget the newly married former captain of the fall league also. So, it's stacked. Like, they're really, really talented. They're young, they move, they're fast, they field. They don't have any names that are going to jump out at you. But as you saw in the fall league and legacy not fall league, the legacy league in the fall, they, I think, went 7-1. They went 7-1. Joe Petty was a phenomenal captain and now one of the players on the team. And they dominated and they lost the eventual champions.
Is Joe Petty his real name?
I think Eisenberger is his last name.
We had him on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Petty's not his real name. Okay,
No,
got it. I remember that.
That's what the boys call him.
That's what the boys call him. Yeah, very good squad. So they were sort of upset in the playoffs, from what I recall.
I think they were the one, and the kids, the Kinderlach were the 2. I think or maybe the Kinderlach were the 3, and they beat them in the semifinals.
Got it.
Yeah, I think it was an upset, but again, they dominated the regular season. They have a very young, talented roster. Again, no big names, no Erlichs, no Jareds, no Rudanskis, another A-League player. But these kids know what they're doing, and they're committed. They're driving in from Muncie and from Brooklyn. A lot of them, I would say 80% of them are coming from Muncie and Brooklyn. So a lot of them are driving.
How come they're so? Meaning they're boys, they know each other. I mean, Brooklyn is not so crazy. We have some Muncie guys come, but not regularly. How come the Muncie guy? How come they're coming regularly? Because they're friends with
I think maybe they got married and live in Muncie now, but they're all friends and they love HSL being the best sports league out there, obviously. So they make the time to come in. Hopefully next time they won't have to come in and leave because of rain. But they, they are a very talented team. Again, we're not putting them up at the top 5, 6, or 7. But I think 8's a good spot for them. Like I said, Klein. Very good pitcher. Actually, I had a message from Sach Felberg like a few months ago when this whole thing, not a few months ago, but a few weeks ago when this whole thing was starting, saying, "Hey, I hear this kid Klein is a dominant, pitcher." I want to say dominant. He's a very solid pitcher. He's like, "Oh, you sure you should be allowed to pitch in the league?" I'm like, don't worry, he pitched in the fall. He's a very good pitcher. Dominant is probably not the right word, but he's very solid. Their field is sound. They're fast. They're young, and they're like a mini Robbins, is what I will call them. In a sense, and for that reason, we'll put them at 8. Shout out, of course, to Altbank for sponsoring Shamai's team. We really appreciate.
Do you know what Altbank is, Avi?
I do. I actually put out
what is Altbank?
I actually put out a thing on my status yesterday. Oh, it went off. I don't want to talk and quote them.
You don't want to misrepresent what they do.
Misrepresent them. Yeah, I know the basic idea. I could try to find it.
It says the financial alternative that gets your business moving.
Yeah.
Maybe we can use it. Whether your business needs a quick and easy term loan or help accepting payments from customers, Altbank has the answer for you.
Yeah, basically, it helps. It helps push your business along financially, and in other ways as well. Basically, I had a nice.
What are the other ways besides financially, like emotionally, romantically?
1 second. Trying to find it. I put it up on the status. I think it was yesterday. I guess they do loans. Technology and underwriting, company size and financials. Transparent funding process, rebranded. Yeah, it looks like mostly financial backing. They excel at delivering quick, customized financing to small and growing businesses, backed by advanced tech underwriting and strong customer satisfaction. Ideal for businesses needing fast capital with transparent terms. It's sounds good. Sounds good for us.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get in touch. All right.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay. Coming up at number 7, I think this is the furthest they've ever been ranked in the history of rankings, but the Black Sox, Shmuel Reda, these guys are all over the place. You never know. Like at one point they didn't have a roster, then they had too many guys in the roster. Shmuel always brings a good
I
roster.
really don't know. Their roster, there are 20 men on their roster, including Daniel Ash, who's not even allowed to play, and Shuey Alfman, who I doubt will play. So I really don't know what to make of this roster, but Reda's always got tricks up his sleeve. That's the real answer. So he's coming in at 7.
Yeah, always finds enough guys to qualify who are super talented. The second he heard about us getting rid of this 2 A-League player rule, he might have gone a little over bananas with the amount of A-Leaguers he put on his team. But again, he's got to do what he's got to do with the rules that were given. So, it could be that has something to do with adding Ash and Shuey and, those guys to the roster. We do have an incident with Shai Rosalimsky on a couple of rosters right now. So you got to figure out who is, dibs on that one, because that's not going to be flying through going into the season. But, Reda has a known repertoire of winning. And although he's all over the place right now with his roster, we'll have him at 7 based on the past. Coming in at 6, the King Venture.
So now we're really getting deep into the power rankings. This is we're getting into some really, really good teams here.
Yeah, and again, any of these 6 could argue to be 1, in my opinion. At 6, you got the King Venture Raging Bulls. So before we get into that, of course, shout out to King Ventures and our apparel company, Yankee, who is amazing to work with. Super sweet and nice guy. If anyone needs any apparel in bulk, really in bulk, he could do a few things, but his main bread and butter is in bulk. Please reach out. He's amazing to deal with. He'll give you the best pricing there is. Delivery times are amazing as well. Craig Stroh, another pro at building rosters. Craig was a part of the Brian Cohn roster and facilitated a lot of players for Brian Cohn to help them win the championship in the Legacy Sunday morning.
Oh, really? He brought in Craig brought in some of those guys?
I think some of those guys.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it was a coincidence.
No, a couple of those guys played with Craig in the fall.
No, I know, but I think Shlomo was. We're talking about the black guys, heavy, right? I think Shlomo Ross was already connected to the black guys, and I think it was a coincidence because then I called Craig. What happened was
Brian Cohn with them. Like, how did they get brought into the league in the first place, like in the fall time?
I don't know. We can ask Shlomo Ross. No, so
he plays with them.
I know. So I called Craig. I was the one who made the show. I called Craig. I said their pitcher went down. Can you play for these guys? He said I'm in another league. So I started going through the roster, and he's like, "Oh, those are all my brothers from the." He calls it the Dark League. He plays in a league deep in Queens. He calls it the Dark League. So I think he knew those guys already. I think Shlomo is sort of half black himself. Once you get to really know him, he's got that swagger. So I think that's how it happened.
Okay. Well, either way, phenomenally stacked team. Do you have the roster in there, or he didn't put the roster in?
He didn't put the roster in. It's not Craig's style. Craig made me email him the rules because I guess it was too complicated to get over WhatsApp. I can make fun of Craig. We're good friends, and we're bringing a team together to the HSL Fall Night Leagues.
Softball, basketball?
Yeah, basketball. I said HSL Fall Night League. I didn't say the sport. Okay, let's move on. Next.
Right, so we got Craig at 6, known to always bring gigantically talented teams. Coming in at 5, we got the bad. What is it?
Bat attitude. Not bad attitude.
Bat
attitude.
Captain by Morty Kirsch, led by Benji Ashkenazi. Another extremely talented team. They are currently in the semifinals in the current night league. They brought a very similar team to the fall night league last year, played in the A-League. They were very successful, lost in the wild card, but they played tough to all the top teams, including one of the best teams ever assembled in the A fall league last year. They lost to my team. I think it was 2-0. Very talented team. They got a lot of talent all around. Morty Kirsch is a fantastic player himself. Benji, of course, is great. Sammy Miller, stud at third base. We could go through the rest of his roster. They got some really high-level players, and they've just been dominating the night leagues over the past few years, going deep into the semis and championships, and I think that deserves a 5 spot in the power rankings.
What was the team name, Avi?
Bat Attitude.
Bad Attitude. Right.
Bat.
Right. No, I Bat. Yeah. No, I lost my train for it a second. And also Benji, he's sort of the captain. I say he's not the captain just because he's very hard to reach. So we'll have Morty Kirsch, but there's also so much baseball IQ on that team. Let's have one question. Morty Kirsch, didn't he play on YU 5 years ago? So maybe he's ineligible.
So is Cyrus Olimsky then. Good thing the new rules cut that out, right?
Yeah. All right, next.
All right, coming in at number 4 is our buddies, the Fellbergs Wall Street Grill. So shout out to Parrots Traub, of course, a very good friend of ours, a very good friend of HSL.
Parrots!
Ironically enough, you also have Chaim Zegelbaum on that team, whose father is also a partner in Wall Street Grill. So Chaim did not take part in making that happen, but the irony is still there. The second that Sach found out that Wall Street Grill is a sponsor, he's like, I hope they're our sponsor. We got Zegelbaum on our team. I'm like, okay, you got it. Very solid team. This is yours, David Gottlieb's team here also. David, why don't you tell everybody about your team?
It's like I said, I saw the team and I said, this is a stacked team. And then I saw all the other teams and I said, okay, we have our work cut out for us. But we have a lot of players who are great guys and also really good players and fierce competitors. We've got Sach obviously captaining, extremely fierce competitor. His brother Shui, who I don't know, but between the two of them, they have millions of trophies. I don't know Yehuda Silber, but then the rest of Menachem Naiman, but the rest of the guys.
Menachem Naiman is a stud, arguably the best hitter on the team. Fantastic.
Arguably the best hitter on the team. There you go.
And a tremendous outfit.
And I think Yehuda Silber is the pitcher.
Yes.
Do you know anything about him?
With Slamowitz. He's a very good pitcher. He's a
very good pitcher. So you got Aaron Feldberg, you got Ari Slamowitz, you got Avi Cavalier. You got a lot of speed on this team. Chaim Zegelbaum. Yeah. You got Zegelbaum, who I love as a person and as a player. And you got Noah Beanstalk, who's a very, very strong hitter. Got Moshe Abramson.
He's going to be coming in under the radar now. He hasn't played softball in the eye of 5 towns for a while. He's a really talented player.
You've got a lot of talented players. You got Eli Sabo. I don't know exactly what the infield alignment is going to be, who our shortstop will be, and our third baseman. Our third baseman, I think, will be Slamowitz. I don't know where Eli Sabo will be. But you just have 1 through 10. You've got really good players and also really experienced players. These teams are just stacked, some of them. I mean, I don't know what to say. You've just got really good players, and a lot of these teams are going to be very hard fought.
It's just deep.
And everybody, and you know what else? Everybody's warm already. This isn't the spring. It's not 50 degrees. It's not your first game in 5 months. Everybody is ready to go. Everybody's already lost some championships or playoff games, so they're hungry. I just lost a brutal championship. It's a good squad, and it's going to be a fun squad. I just have to make sure not to piss Sach off too much.
Coming in at number 3 are the Robins. Ariel Cohen pitching. When Ariel Cohen's on the mound, it's really hard to, nowadays to put them at a top 3. He's just so dominant. Obviously they'll always bring the Goldenbergs and, the Erickson Floreses and, the Nenners and, fantastic field behind them. They're not going to give up runs. They're not going to give up more than 2 to 3 runs a game. Could they hit enough? Maybe. I think they'll definitely hit a lot more in the in this league than they did Sunday Morning Titan. The pitchers aren't as dominant, but you got to always put them up there. There's no stopping it until you see Ariel getting hit, and he doesn't get hit. You could say as much as you want anything, Ariel does not get hit. He doesn't get hit in the Titan League, in the higher league. Forget the Wednesday night league. He does not get hit. The guy does not get hit. He's a really good pitcher, especially with the defense he has behind him. And until we see otherwise, you got to rank him top 3.
And Ariel just has a way of finding talent. He's got so much talent. He starts playing pickup with 8 and 9-year-olds out there in West Hempstead. He's developing them. By the time the people are joining the Robins, they've already been playing with Ariel for 10 years just in pickup games. So he has a culture. He has a community around the Robins. And he attracts talent. He runs a tight ship. They don't make mistakes. You're beating the Robins in a playoff game 2-1, 3-2.
Brutal. It's
maybe
it's so stressful playing the Robins. I played them in the semifinals in my Titan League. We beat them, I think it was 3-2 on a walk-off, lost to them 1-0, and then we're down 5-1 and came back and walked them off, 6-5. But it's brutal. It's stressful. It's so hard to blow a team like that out. It's just so hard because they're so.
You can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah.
All right, so we're down to our final two. We've been through a lot of teams. We're down to our final two. And these teams are going to be really, really, really fighting it out. Coming in at number 2, we got Can Do Cans. An amazing
Can Do Cans.
Yes, an amazing sponsor. Another new sponsor. They service, they clean out your garbage disposal, garbage cans for your houses in the Five Towns area, Long Island, Great Neck. They do a fantastic job. They're highly recommended. I've seen a lot of their work. They are phenomenal. I think we posted them on our status and on our community as of recently. Definitely reach out. They do a great job, and they're always going to be there. And hopefully we continue to grow with them and develop the relationship with them. We've had many phone calls with the owner himself. He's a really, really nice guy, really super easy to talk to, easy to deal with. And we appreciate his partnership with us. Can Do Can Suicide Squad, Moshe Zinn, Jack Ross. I could stop right there. When you have those two guys.
Jack Ross, by the way, Jack Ross, you should know, he was considered a mid-tier player, but over the last couple of months and year, he's really established himself as in the upper echelons. What happened was we had there's an inside joke here. We had a podcast with Steve, and something came up about Jack, and I said, we were just comparing players, and I said, oh, Jack is in the upper echelon of hitters. I thought he was like one cut below, and Jack didn't mention it to me. And then I was chatting with him last few nights ago about the All-Star game or something, and he said he used the term upper echelon. So
it must have gone back there, right?
I said, oh, you caught that? He's like, I've got eyes and ears everywhere.
I see Jack.
I don't know why I still think that Steve, there was a podcast where either Glenn or Steve said like Jack is still like maturing as a hitter kind of thing. And I took that to mean, but I took that to mean that he still wasn't the top tier. I guess you're always maturing as a hitter, but it seems that's not the case. That's where that came from.
Listen, they got a stacked squad. They're absolutely phenomenal. Do they have a roster in there or they don't have the roster in there?
I don't think they have the roster on there, but I'll tell you this much. You have Jack Ross in center and Moshe Zinn at shortstop. You're in the playoffs. That's it.
Let's go.
Tovia's pitching. Tovia's a great pitcher.
He won't walk people.
He won't walk people. He's got a great defense. They won a championship in the spring last year against a stacked Black Sox squad. We were at that game, Avi. I don't know if you remember.
I remember.
It was a great game. They've got amazing camaraderie through Jubal. Apparently, it's impossible to get into the Jubal chat. You have to play O-line naked. Shout out to Jordan Hiller, who we saw at Zalman Pollock's charity event for RCCS the other night.
Beautiful event, by the way.
You play O-line naked in Jubal for a year, and then you get into the Jubal chat, and then it takes like another 5 years to get onto Suicide Squad, something like that. So it seems like I'll be in my mid-40s by the time I said,
they told me like, oh, Moshe Zinn is at game time. I'm like, come on, he wouldn't be here. And they give me a desk job. What? Of course he would be here. This is Jubal. You think he would think he'd just miss it? Like, of course he would be here if he didn't have I think he had a game Muncie or something. For something he had. Of course he would be here. Like I got kind of like, whoa, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. You were so
They've got a very, very tight-knit group. I didn't realize the extent of it. So I don't know who else is on their roster. I'm sure we know a lot of the guys, but you have Jack and Zinn. That's a play. It's Jack, Zinn, and Tuvia. That's a playoff team right there.
Yeah, playoff team, championship. I mean, also they're winning championships. They won the championship last spring. They're currently in the semifinals right now. They go deep every single year.
They took care of the Black Sox, easily. It seems last night 4-0. They didn't put up.
Their field is fantastic. Then they got tremendous hitting. Coming in number 1, our good new friends now, Twillery Tigers. Twillery, of course, is the upper echelon of all clothing brands. They've got their gorgeous new, it's not so new anymore, but their gorgeous new store in the Five Towns. Gonna head out there soon to get some good content. Awesome dudes. It is the place to be for your air suits, known for their air suits. It's apparently the most comfortable. I've yet to be Zocha to try one on, but apparently is absolutely amazing, and all their clothing, their polo shirts, their regular shirts.
And remember, Player of the Week every week gets one of their special polo shirts.
Yes, Twillery.
So there's going to be and you can only get it if you submit your stats on Game Changer.
Correct. Yes, you will not be eligible. You go 4 for 4 with 4 home runs and 15 RBIs. You will not be eligible for the gorgeous Twillery polo shirt unless
3 grand slams and a 3-run homer. I like that.
Yes, you will not be eligible for your Twillery polo shirt unless you put your stats in. So thank you, Twillery, and thank you of the captain, Twillery, David Manella, and big thank you, Menachem Dicker of the Twillery Tigers for making the shidduch.
Big League Dicker.
As a professional harasser, I actually mentioned this on the conference call with Twillery. I said I actually was very humbled that I was not able to crack through. Usually I'm able to get through, at least get an answer. It was a yes or no. But as a professional harasser, usually I'm good at getting answers, and I just could not get through. Menachem hooked it up. So I don't know if we would ever have had this with Twillery if not for Menachem. So we want to thank Menachem Dicker for making this happen with Twillery, and hopefully we continue to tremendously grow with them. Let's get into the roster. The number one ranked team in all the teams. Dave, you could talk a little bit about the Twillery Tigers, and they're just stacked, like stacked.
They are stacked. Who do we know? So we know Dicker, we know Manella, we know Yitzchak Weiss. They have Tzvi Miller. Sandy Berger's on that squad too.
Sandy Berger is going to be pitching most of their games. I think Yitzchak's going to be away a lot of the summer. He'll try to be eligible. But just them two at pitcher, man, those are two of the top 3-4 pitchers in the league on the same team.
Yeah. Who else do they got?
Yitzi.
When you have Eli Sabo as a backup on the team,
currently,
you're doing something right. He's currently a backup.
Yaakov Sabo is officially on the roster also. It's just a stacked roster.
Shia Weiss still on the team?
Officially, it's a stacked roster with very talented players all around. Another team that makes the championship after championship after championship.
Another team with a culture, by the way. I'm very into these teams with cultures.
Yes.
And another team with a culture, a deep culture. Chaim Zegelbaum didn't fit into that culture, so they got rid of him, and that's how they picked him up.
Apparently, Chaim's now in the released club. He joined the club of being released by teams. There's not that many of us in that club. But he's joined the club. But again, when you have a team with Yitzchak Weiss and Sandy Berger as your pitchers, and then you have guys like David Manella out there, and Yitzi Miller and Menachem Dicker, it's so hard to compete when you have such talent at the pitching level and the outfield.
The only reason I wouldn't put them at one is they haven't won that many championships. I think they've only won one in the night.
They made it, but never actually got. They have very.
No, I think they won one. I think they won one.
They made it a lot.
Right. They make it a lot, but they don't always get over the top, which maybe would have been a reason to include Suicide Squad. And interestingly, on that note, Coffee from the Shul, they played to a tie last night, which gave the Tigers the win. But that's speaks to the point that they struggle a little bit in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, Coffee the Shul also has a fantastic pitcher. Is he pitching in the summer?
Asaf? I think he's on. Is he on Held's squad? Maybe that's a reason Held shouldn't have been number 12. Chaim Zegelbaum just messaged me. Go blank yourself. All right, we got to wrap. I got to run.
All right, so again,
anything else?
No, the top 9 teams I think have a legit chance of making the championship, but even the bottom 5, we're not familiar with a lot of them. Could surprise us. It should be a packed season. We are. Don't worry. Even though Tuesday night there's an HSL MSL All-Star game, we have our hand on the what's the phrase that we're connected still. We have a hand on the pulse. We have someone there for videos and highlights, making sure you all get your jerseys on time. That first week covers playing this coming Tuesday night. So we got it all covered for you. You don't miss out on any content here at the HSL. So sponsors, you'll have your highlights. Players, you'll have your jerseys and your highlights. And we look forward. So much fun. The All-Star game, the league starting, the Sunday morning league, the basketball league coming up in the fall. We already have, I think, 7 teams committed 4 days into open registration, which is amazing. We have our softball league in the fall, which we're trying to push for the draft. A lot of talk and hype behind that as well. A lot of fun stuff. Our kids league starting also in the fall, growing by the day. So looking forward. Hopefully we'll have a podcast soon recapping the Titan League Championship. Who would have thought it's so hard to get anybody on my team other than me to come on the podcast and talk about the
very quiet team.
So defeating the Bombers and keeping them in check now for 2 years in a row. We'll keep out the fall league, but this Bomber team just can't, it looks like
Who's Alex? Who's Alex that just posted Tavares to the Maple Leafs? Who's Alex? I don't know who that
Sandy
is.
Berger.
Alex Ascendi? Okay.
I don't know. It could be. It means Alex is. I had Alex. I had someone
Alexander.
saved on my phone as Alex for a while, but it could be someone else. I don't know. That's so random. Though. Why do you post that?
I don't know. I guess if you're a big hockey guy, you know, it's big news.
I
All right,
guess.
good stuff. And reminder that the champion of the league wins a big dinner at Wall Street Grill.
Yes.
It would actually be a lot of fun, you know. I mean, go there with Zagel, but I mean, I'm coming to that dinner no matter who it is. I'm coming to that dinner.
Yeah.
I've never been to any of the championship dinners. I'm gonna miss I'm most likely gonna miss the Hippos. I can't go to a championship dinner when I lost the championship, but I think the Wall Street Grill one I'll be at, and there's so many great teams with great guys in this league, and I can't miss it. All right, that's it.
It'll be funny if your team wins and Chaim's a part of it.
Yeah, we better get a lot of extras if.
But $850 isn't enough, you know. You better double it or triple it if Chaim's there. All right, thanks everybody. Looking forward, a lot of fun. Good luck. Can't wait.